Hello everybody, my name is Davis and welcome back to another video, and today we are here for another severe weather breakdown. Now we got a lot of stuff to talk about today. We got a tropical storm that's most likely going to make landfall within the next 24 hours. We've got a massive storm that's about to come through. We've got a snowstorm possibly coming through as well. There's so much to talk about today, so let's go ahead and get right into it. Starting off with the SPC outlook, today we have two slight risks of severe weather. One is here in eastern Wyoming and then western northwestern Nebraska and southwestern South Dakota. So look out in that region. And then we also have a slight risk here on the east coast for the landfall of Hurricane Ophelia, or tropical storm Ophelia, I guess I should say. So let's go and break down the threats that this is going to bring. Now, starting off the tornado threat for today, we do have a 5% risk of a tornado in two areas today, which is pretty uncommon. We got one here on the east coast for the tropical storm that is likely to make landfall in this region here in the brown, and then we've got one here in the place where we're going to have a big storm today in the brown as well. So if you're in the brown, you have a 5% chance to see a tornado today, but if you're in the green, you also have a 2% chance to see a tornado today, so we still need to be looking out in that region as well. Damaging wind threat, we do have two 5% risks of wind gusts of 60 miles an hour or higher. One is here on the east coast. The tropical storm is expected to make landfall at about a 60 to 65 mile per hour storm, so it's realistic that they would have a risk here for 60 mile an hour or higher winds. And then we have a 5% risk here as well in the northern plains here for our storm. So moving on to the hail threat, we do have a hatched risk for hail today. We have a 15% risk to see hail of 2 inches or larger there in the yellow. This does include Rapid City, Gillette, Scottsbluff, Spearfish, Rapid Valley, and more. So look out in that entire region there. You have a 15% chance to see hail of 2 inches or larger. In the brown, that's a 5% chance to see hail of 1 inch or larger, so not quite as big of a deal, but still look out. Moving on to tomorrow here, we already have an enhanced risk of severe weather, and I mean, it might not even stop here. We could get a moderate risk. As of right now, it's kind of hard to tell. And then we have a marginal risk here on the east coast for the remnants of the tropical storm. So breaking down the tornado threat tomorrow, we do have a 5% risk of a tornado already here in the upper western Midwest, including portions of Iowa and Minnesota here. So do look out for that. It does go into extreme eastern bits of South Dakota as well, but not very much. So Des Moines, look out tomorrow. You have a 5% risk already to see a tornado. And then we do have a 2% risk of a tornado here on the east coast, and also a 2% risk of a tornado here that extends a pretty decent length all the way down to Oklahoma, back up into the upper Midwest. So look out for that. Damaging wind threat tomorrow. This is going to be our main concern. This is what's driving the enhanced risk as of right now. We have a 30% chance to see wind gusts of 60 miles an hour or higher here in the southern plains in the southwestern Midwest here. So for northeastern Oklahoma, southeastern Kansas, and southwestern Missouri, definitely look out. You could definitely see some very strong wind gusts. I'm kind of surprised we don't have a hatch risk for wind, but we might get one tomorrow. And then we also have a 5% risk of winds of 60 miles an hour here on the east coast, so look out for that as well. Hail threat, we have a hatch risk for hail already tomorrow as well, and this is a pretty large hatch risk too. So if you're in the brown, that's a 5% chance to see hail of 1 inch or larger. The yellow is a 15% chance to see a hail of 1 inch or larger, but if you're in the yellow with the black line circle, that's a 15% chance to see hail of 2 inches or larger. Luckily, the only place in the hatch risk tomorrow are Oklahoma City, Norman, Tulsa, and Omaha, which sounds like a lot, but this is a huge area, so the fact that we don't have any more cities in this is really good. But still, 6.6 million people tomorrow have a chance to see hail of 2 inches or larger, up to baseball size possible. So definitely look out here in the central plains and the western Midwest. Now going into Sunday here, we already have a slight risk of severe weather once again, as we're likely to see another severe weather event down here in northeast Texas and southeast Oklahoma as we go into the second severe weather season of the year. The fall is always pretty active for severe weather here, especially in the Great Plains. So really for the next few weeks, anywhere in the Great Plains or the western Midwest need to be looking out for severe weather especially. So let's go ahead and move on to the National Hurricane Center, where we do of course have Tropical Storm Ophelia here. It is officially a tropical storm now. It's kind of sitting there as a potential tropical storm as a while. This is going to bring some major impacts, okay? Could get upwards of 6 inches of rain or more in some places. We could get upwards of 3 to 4 4 feet of storm surge in portions of central North Carolina here, as well as central Virginia. So definitely look out for that. Or sorry, not central, eastern. I don't know why I said central. But obviously you can only get storm surge along the coast. Anyway, you know what I mean. So definitely look out for that. 1 to 2 feet of storm surge will be possible down into like South Carolina and up near the Delmarva region. So still look out for that as well. And obviously right now the main thread's looking like it's going to be tornadoes, as we do have that 5% tornado risk. But we do also have 60 mile an hour winds in this thing right now, and it's starting to affect portions of the Carolinas and Virginia. So we need to be looking out here. We need to be making sure that we have a storm shelter in place in case we need to get underground. Get a few days worth of food and stuff ready, all the supplies you're going to need to survive a few days underground if you need to. So yeah, look out for this thing. This has been sitting out here for a while, and it finally formed, and it is heading straight for the Carolinas, Virginia, West Virginia, but we're going to talk about that more later. We have a disturbance here that has a 90% chance to form the next 7 days and a 70% chance to form the next 48 hours, and this could also head for the U.S. We've had so many named storms make landfall in the U.S. this year, and we might not even be done yet, as we're just now really getting into the peak hurricane season of 2023. We will go on the downwards trend soon, but right now this is the highest point of the year to see hurricanes. Eastern Pacific, we do have post-tropical cyclone Kenneth out here. By the weekend, this thing will be done. And then we have a disturbance here that has an 80% chance to form the next 7 days and a 50% chance to form the next 48 hours, but luckily it's not looking like it's going to go for Hawaii, but Hawaii could see some effects from it, so we need to be looking out for this as well. And then this disturbance has a 10% chance to form the next 48 hours and a 10% chance to form the next 7 days. I don't think it's going to do anything, so I think you should be fine, but this is indicating that some showers and thunderstorms are here, so do look out for that. Now moving on to the track for Ophelia here. Like I said, right now it is currently a 60 mile per hour storm here, and will intensify up to 65 miles an hour or higher. It's looking like as of right now, as we go into tonight, and then will officially make landfall very early tomorrow morning around 7 or 8 a.m. here, so Eastern time, 8 or 9 a.m., as a 60 mile per hour storm most likely. So we need to be looking out here. If you're in this cone here, you have the highest chance of seeing the direct landfall of Hurricane Ophelia, or Tropical Storm Ophelia, I guess I should say. But if you're not in the cone, that doesn't mean you're not going to see effects. That just means you're not going to see the direct impact. But Jacksonville is definitely a large area in here that could see the impact from Hurricane Ophelia. Or, sorry, I keep calling it a hurricane. It's just a tropical storm. But yeah. Then it's going to move off to the north here, affect portions of eastern Virginia, make it up to Richmond. By this point, it'll probably be about a 40-45 mile per hour storm here, and then eventually take a little bit of a turn to the east here, not as big as we were expecting before, make it into the Delmarva region. By this point, it'll be about a 30 to 35 mile per hour storm with still some decent storm surge and rainfall, and then by the time it reaches like Baltimore, Philadelphia, Harrisburg, this whole region here, this is where it will likely end its lifetime, and by this point it will be a 30 mile per hour storm. So anybody in this path needs to be watching out for a tropical storm coming their way very soon. But yeah, that's pretty much it for that. Finally, watches, warnings, and advisories. Right now, it's decently calm, but we're gonna see some stuff later tonight. Obviously, we have a bunch of tropical storm related things here on the East Coast. Tropical storm warnings, storm surge watches. So look out in this entire region here. If you're in an alert, make sure to check what it is exactly. We got some frost advisories in effect here in portions of southeastern Idaho, and then we do have a singular winter weather advisory still in effect here in Montana, but I believe they just reissued some more recently, so whenever this gets updated, we're going to see a lot come in, because we have the potential to see anywhere from 6 to 10 inches of snow here in the Montana region. As I've been talking for a while now, this snowstorm, it's going to be a slow mover. It's going to kind of sit here and dump a bunch of snow in this region, potentially up to 10 inches, and we are so early into the snowfall season to see that. It's crazy. But that's pretty much it for that whole area. Red flag warnings in effect for portions of Colorado, so look out, don't be burning anything there. We do have a few red flag warnings here in effect for the Corpus Christi area. Heat index values up to 114 degrees possible, which is insane. It's super hot down here, super cold over here, just a few hundred miles away. Air quality alerts in effect for a good portion of central California here. And then we do have some flood related watches and warnings and advisories here in northwestern California and southwestern Oregon, so look out for that. But other than that, that's it. That's pretty much it. So if you guys did enjoy this video, make sure to like and subscribe. Tomorrow, we're going to have a really good severe weather event, like good size. It's not going to be good, it's going to be bad, but it's going to be good size. And then we're also going to see the official landfall of Hurricane Ophelia, most likely. So look out for that. But other than that, I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.